Individual empowerment and good leadership. We hear a lot about autonomous teams and self-organization. And these are really important because people need to have some kind of control over their work. They need to be able to take chances, try out new ideas, learn from experiments, and be innovative. And at the same time, leadership is really essential, and leaders need to be mindful of how much freedom their people can reasonably handle. Too much autonomy before a person or a team is ready can really backfire. Next is adaptability and planning. And things change so quickly these days that we have no choice but to be extremely adaptable. And if nothing else, the pandemic has taught all of us that we need to be open to rapidly changing in order to move forward and in order to survive. So whether we like it or not, right, we just have to adjust. But that doesn't mean we should throw away our plans and that we should stop planning. Planning is really important because people need to think through what they intend to do, what they want to accomplish, what their goals are, maybe think a little bit about how they're going to do it, think about possibilities for success or failure so that they can be ready for different eventualities. So the planning effort itself is really important. And sometimes you can follow some of those plans. Most of the time you need to change and adapt your plans as you go along. But the planning itself can be really valuable, and both are important. Okay, I am looking at the chat. I see someone made an interesting comment. Ex-DevOps engineer here, now software manager. Our DevOps team seems to be growing further from the practical needs of the engineers who need automation. Yeah. So I think what I've seen happen is people, just human beings generally, right? They become entrenched in their own ideas of what is important and how things should be. And it's hard sometimes, especially when you're dealing with really complex software and computer systems and engineering environments. It's hard to step back and see the big picture because you get so caught up in what we need in order for things not to break and what we need in order to be successful. And what we strove to do with the Agile 2 principles is bring, without actually using the term systems thinking, but is to bring the concepts of systems thinking into it, so that the idea is that you look at the whole picture and balancing out the different parts of the organization, whether it's different teams or the tech, looking closely at what you need and what are the tools that are going to help you be successful. Are you set up in such a way that you can automate things? Is the time it takes to automate considered valuable time well spent because it's going to save so much time later on? I mean, are the people who need to be having those trade-off conversations actually having them? And so what we tried to do with the Agile 2 principles is bring that more holistic view. And that's part of the reason why there's so many of them. There are a lot of them. And we don't expect everyone to read them and follow them or agree with them because Agile 2 is not a framework. It doesn't tell you what to do. It's more of a guide for how to think about things. And the other thing is it's not the last word. Like, we know that people are going to iterate on this and come up with their own ideas and come up with their other sets of ideas that are going to work really well for them. And that's great. The goal here is for Agile 2 principles to be a set of guiding principles and thought-provoking ideas that will help you think through the essence of what it is you're trying to accomplish, and then that will guide you in the direction of what you need to do, and that will be more effective than 12 steps or a model or a system to follow. So there's 43 principles in 8 different categories. So we'll take a look at these category by category. We weren't going to talk about all of them because there's too many. But I did highlight some in yellow that I'm going to speak to a little bit tonight. It doesn't mean they're the most important or my favorites or anything like that. I try to shift these around a little bit sometimes too, because I think they're all really important, but it's too many to share all at once. So